welcome to you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is the Female Mixing Engineers Music Podcast, bringing you 4 great songs created by 4 very, very talented ladies in 4 unique home studio settings. My name is Darcy Jevons, and I am so thankful that you are here joining us, listening to this podcast. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And if you haven't already, visit femalemixingengineers.com to get on the mailing list. Also, go to Facebook, Female Mixing Engineers on Facebook, and give it that like. Also, join us on Instagram, Twitter, and Pinterest as well. And by the way, with that Pinterest, there are almost 500 posts there that have to do with tutorials or information on mixing, production, a lot of really good information and links on that page. So join us on Pinterest. And let's see, what else? You can consume this podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Podbean, Radio Public, and all those wonderful podcast platforms, and there's probably even more. So thank you again for joining us. And, this podcast is to inspire you to get into your home studio and make some great music by listening to others who have done it, and especially ladies. This podcast is really to help inspire ladies, but guys, are great you're listening too, because, it's not done with anything below our belt line, right? So anyway, I'm glad that you're joining us. We have a great show for you today. This is the ladies on this show. We have such a mix from rock to instrumental and some pop and some, gosh, I don't even know what to call one of them, but we'll get to that. So what I want to do before we jump into the ladies and their music is talk about a subject that actually I've seen pop up a few different places, and I love this, and it's very vital information about what are called emotional timelines. Now, after studying music production and mixing at Berklee College of Music, one of the best, coolest takeaways for song development that I received was using a tool called emotional timeline. This was part of a mastering class, but it can be used for preparing a song idea before entering your studio too. So this can help with preparation. The timeline will help you lay down the groundwork for the direction you want to take your song. So preparation is a big part of getting into the studio and creating and mapping out what you want to do with your song. It can come in handy for mix engineers mixing other people's music, writing down and seeing, okay, where's this song going? Obviously for a producer and a mastering engineer, an emotional timeline is a visual of the song. So there's some artists, obviously, who go into the studio and with just an idea or a hook, and the magic happens. We know this can happen. But more times than not, preparation is going to be the key in successful recording and producing. So mapping out your song using this emotional timeline chart will help give any producer or musician or mix engineer direction for the song. And it looks really cool on paper too, because you can see what's going on. Where's this song going? Where are the climaxes? Where do you want it to pull back? This is good to see on paper, especially if you're into that kind of visual, mapping out of things. So anyway, it can also help the song evolve the way that it was intended by the writer or the producer. It's a great way of communicating. What I have done is I am putting in the show notes a link to a Dropbox link that includes a blank emotional timeline template. So you can map out dynamics and form and arrangement and emotion on an elapsed timeline that also includes bars, the measures for your song. So this is going to hopefully be something that can help you. With the template for this emotional timeline, it's a blank template, so you can fill in all the information of your song. I'm also including 3 examples using 3 of my all-time favorite songs, which includes You're No Good by Linda Ronstadt, Here I Am by Lyle Lovett, and You're So Vain by Carly Simon. I actually did these when I was in school, but still, it's great to look at these and give you an idea how a hit song actually is mapped out. So it'll help you focus, and it'll help you focus on that intended vision during the whole creative process. So I'm also including in the Dropbox a chart of song form abbreviations that can help you map out your song on the timeline. So this is all important. You know, preparation and knowing where you want your song to go, it's all good. It's all good. So unless you're one of those people, though, that can get into the studio and just with a hook create something fantastic, which, hey, that is great too. I'm all for preparation, knowing where I want the song to go. So in any stage of the creative process, this emotional timeline can be a valuable tool. So I hope that you go to the Dropbox and you download it and the examples, and it's useful to you, because that's what I want to do. Is I want to help you create the best possible music that you can. Okay? So that is what I wanted to say about that. Now, what we're going to do is we are going to dive right into the ladies and their music, because this show there's so much to talk about with their music. So we are going to dive right in right now. And the first song is going to blow you away. It's actually an instrumental. So here we go. Yeah, doesn't that make you feel good? Our first talented lady hails from the UK. Her name is Jessica Williamson. She's 20-something years old, and she is fantastic. What a great composer. This particular song she considers to be ambient rock instrumental, which is true. And as this song goes on, you're just going to love it, especially like when the guitars enter. It's so awesome. This is her single, Brave. It was composed, produced, mixed, and mastered by Jessica. She plays piano, and she also collaborated with Annie from Little Wing, a band called Little Wing. She's on guitar. Then we also have Kane Knights on bass, and he is from the band The Unknown. And we have Leslie Adrians, and he is from the band Birthday Card. I hope that's a he. I think it is. Anyway, so isn't that bad? I'm assuming the drummer is a guy. If you're a female, I'm sorry. Anyway, these musicians are fantastic, absolutely fantastic. You're going to be blown away by the sound of this whole track, and just kick back and soak it all in. She's influenced by Evanescence, Ellie Goulding, Coldplay, and more. About this track, she used Logic Pro for composing and demoing, and then she used Pro Tools for all the recording, mixing, and mastering. The vocal effects mic, you'll hear the vocal effects, which are cool, is an SE Electronics X1, which is a large diaphragm condenser. As I said, this was a collaboration. It was actually for a college project. So, I think it's great when you're collaborating. Sometimes we kind of get in a bubble when we work alone, but when we are almost forced to collaborate, it can actually be an eye-opening experience. This collaboration turned out phenomenal. She tracked the piano and did all the composing, editing, mixing, and mastering, and she recently moved into a new house, and now she has a dedicated studio there. She says it used to be the piano in the bedroom, which took up much of the room, so it's nice to have more space now. She doesn't really have any outboard gear that she used on this particular track, but her interface is the amazing Akai EIE Pro. It's a heavy silver tank, and I've seen those. It's really awesome. She recorded her piano, the MIDI, and the audio for this, as well as her FX vocals. She recorded through the Akai. So she loves also Slate Digital Revival. It's a great plugin. It's a sound enhancer plugin. And she said it made the overhead mics in this track just come alive. She enjoys the workflow of MIDI in Logic. And then in Pro Tools, she prefers that for the mixing stage because it has great editing tools for her specific needs. So this is nice to know. You know, you work with different DAWs and you can see what they have to offer. You know, I hear a lot how people should just stick with one DAW or digital audio workstation and get to know it backwards and forwards and like the back of their hand. And in a lot of ways, I agree with that. But if you can learn more than one, hey, that opens up new doors, right? So going on, the vocal effects in this song were not recorded for this song specifically, okay? It came from a previous song that she produced. She recycled those effects, those vocal effects, to keep the signature sound she wants going in her productions. It's like establishing a memorable sound that you can associate with an artist. This is really cool. So think about that. She says it's like a leitmotif, which is a repetitive sort of sound that in music that it's kind of like a hook in a way, but anyway, she says this was a technique that was inspired by one of her favorite groups, Enigma. So she likes to take that sample or that file and insert it into other productions. I think this is a really cool idea, thinking about that. If you have a signature sound and you insert it in a lot of your productions, somebody's going to be able to associate that with you and go, oh yeah, man, that's Jessica Williamson. I recognize that. So that's a very smart way to establish a sound. So we are going to dive in, listen to her and her creation. Again, this is Jessica Williamson with her song, Brave. Jessica, I am so impressed. That is a phenomenal composition, and the mixing is outstanding. When that guitar comes in, it's like, wow. And the electronic beat that's added with the drums is great, and she composed and programmed that herself. The texture of that track, it's fantastic arranging is what it is. And she also did all the string arrangements as well. So in the show notes, please go to the links that are for Jessica and purchase her song. Please do that because that helps support these ladies so much, and show her some love on any of those links. Find her on Facebook or Twitter or wherever you want to join her and follow her career. She is amazing. All right, so now we are going to move on to our next little lady. I am so excited to feature a song mixed by this phenomenal producer, mixer, sound designer. Her name is Hayley Hersh. She is from LA. And this is a single she mixed called Put It All on the Table. And the artist is Dustin Tavella. You can find him all over YouTube. I mean, this guy is fantastic. She mixed this song, and it's kind of fun to have a guy singing a song. It's not too often tracks are submitted where it's a male vocal, and I'm kind of happy this one is. Man, there's just so much to say about this lady. Hayley has a resume that just is amazing. If you go to her website, which is included in the show notes, you can read all about all the fantastic projects that she has been involved in. She mixed this song, Put It All on the Table, working closely with the producers, especially the vocal producer named Fingaz. And she met the artist, Dustin, through Fingaz, who's a good friend from high school of hers, actually, and recommended Hayley to Dustin and his manager. Hayley is also a musician, has been playing piano for 30 years. She played in bands and cover bands and then got the itch to record. Yeah, got that one. In 2000, she started working at Streetlight Productions in Corona, California. And from there, she started to collaborate with big-name producers and co-produced some great tracks, including some for a Latin rapper called Mr. Shadow, and also for Corrupt, who was a member of the Dog Pound with Snoop and of Dr. Dre fame. So Hayley is amazing. She was mentored by many talented guys in audio, helping her hone her skills in Pro Tools, which is her DAW of choice. And over a 5-year period, starting after 2010, she started to co-engineer sessions for Tyga. I think is it Tyga or is it Tiga? I think Tyga. Also co-writing a song for the group The Wanted titled Running Out of Reasons. And in 2015, she started doing sound design full-time at Elephant Sound Design. And she also does audio post-production and is for hire. So when you listen to her music, you're probably just going to want to run out and hire her. She's amazing. She has so many credits on her website. I didn't even cover all of them. This lady has experience, and she is a phenomenal mixer. I did not mention yet that she was also, get this, a Marine. She was a Marine from 1991 to 95. And as I said, her DAW of choice is Pro Tools 10. For this song, she was not involved in the production or mastering. Mixing is what she did for this song, although she does do other things too. The mic used for the vocals was an MXL Genesis. And her studio is a hybrid studio / living space. It's a converted rear unit of the apartment building she lives in. Okay. She mixed a song on her Mackie HR824 monitors, as well as her secret weapon, she calls it, which is a small mono Radio Shack speaker that is great for balancing mid-range. Hey, that's awesome. Her interface is an Apogee Duet. And her favorite plugins for this track, okay, include a FabFilter Pro DS, which is a de-esser, Sound Toys Decapitator on parallel compression for the piano, and also native plugins for EQ, and she likes Air Distortion as a favorite plugin. She also used the Waves C1 compressor and the Waves S1 imager. She has mixed 2 songs for Dustin. I even listened to the other one. It was like, oh my gosh, these are both great. But this one, I know you're going to enjoy this. She's phenomenal. And again, this is Hayley Hersh with her talented mixing abilities of Dustin Tavella's single, Put It All on the Table. Awesome, Hayley. You know, what'd you guys think of that? That was such a great job. And I can hear her sound design talents, you know, coming into play. The effects and the balance are fantastic. You can't help but just love that. And she is one very talented lady. Please go and visit her website, hire her. If you need some top quality mixing, sound design, audio post-production, whatever, just reach out to her, and I know she will get the job done for you exactly the way you want it done. And by the way, Hayley, hi neighbor. Anyway, okay, so now we are going to move on to the next talented woman and her amazing music. Yeah, I don't want to play too much of this song before you hear it because it's indescribable. It's such a cool song. You are going to be listening to the amazing Dinah Thorpe. She's a songwriter, musician, producer from Toronto, and this is her title track of her EP, The Body Wants. She released this EP on the record label, which is Femcraft, launched by DJ Tyler Stone, who is featured in Billboard and Huffington Post. It is the coolest sound, okay? In fact, even the genre on SoundCloud for her post says something else because you can't fit her music into any kind of a box. Her sound is so unique, and I really believe this is so important. I mean, we have a vast sea of musicians and songs out there, and to cut through all that with a unique sound, how cool is that? She draws on a hugely diverse range of influences, from folk to rap, trip-hop to blues, orchestral to techno, and she has come up with a style that's all her own. She's a performer who has shared the stage with industry heavyweights like Sandra Lersch, I think that is, The Clicks, Eternia, and Melissa Ferrick. You can go to her website, which is, of course, in the show notes, and find out all the fantastic stuff that she has done and been a part of. Her music has also been featured on MTV's 16 and Pregnant and on Anderson Cooper specials, also NBA Inside Stuff, and the soundtrack for the film Love, American Skin. She's received 2 Juno Award nominations as well as Independent Music Award nomination. And it's easy to see why. She is so distinctly different and so cool. I love it. She kind of reminds me of an Annie Lennox, David Bowie sort of thing but completely all her own, okay? About this song, her mic for this song was a Rode NTK tube condenser, and her DAW was Logic 9. Haha, so we've got to hold out on the Logic 9. All the vocals were hers, and the kick was added with her Boss DR880, which is Dr. Rhythm drum machine, and the beats and loops were from Logic, with a lot of the highs rolled off, and the bass was a Logic loop as well. This is cool. I mean, constructing great tracks with loops is amazing. Her keyboard is her Nord Electro 3, one of the loves of her life. I love that. And I was looking at that particular keyboard. That is an amazing keyboard. What an investment. I love it. Her studio is the small room on the 3rd floor of her Toronto apartment. Yeah, she was even saying sometimes she thinks it would be great to have a bigger place, but why? I mean, she says she loves the sound of the vocals in this room, so, it's working for her. She uses her Nord as a MIDI controller with a PreSonus Fire Studio interface. And all the vocals were recorded through a Behringer Ultra again Pro tube preamp, and the Nord is through a JDI Duplex MK4 direct inbox. So that's her equipment, and she's what the sound that she gets is truly phenomenal. Okay, so a little bit about this track, which normally I don't like to talk about it exactly before you hear, because I don't want to influence any sort of opinions or whatever. But I have to preface this. You're going to notice her background harmonies are more artistic than theory or science-oriented, as she likes to call it. She came up with some very dissonant pitches, which she says are haunting and cheerful, which she thinks describes her music how it is. And at first when I listened to it, it was almost like, whoa, what's that pitch? I mean, because I work with a lot of vocals and I can be really just, stuck in a way of thinking, everything's got to be this way and pitch this way. But there was something about this that even with the almost atonal sound of the background vocals, it fit perfectly. I don't know how to describe it, and you're going to see it sets the mood of this song, and the more I listened to it, the more hooked I got on the sound, and then the lyrics, and it just started giving me chills. So I had to throw that in there. So when it comes along, you might be a little ready for it, and listen to it the way I did. She likes plate reverbs on her vocals usually, but she kept the vocals very dry on this particular song since there's a lot of reverb on the drum sounds. She doesn't use much compression, and the only compression on this song is on the drum kit channel. And then even her limiting was minimal, which only added a little over 1 dB gain. So that's not squashing that puppy down very much, but it works. The dynamics are great. The feeling of the song is great, and here we go. We're going to listen to it now. Again, this is Dinah Thorpe with her single, "The Body Wants."
The body wants to breathe. The ribs want to heave. The heart to ache and moan. The skin above the hips. The lips. The lips. The lips. And so all the questions look the same as they did. Stop feeling sorry and get on with it. You're safe and sound. So what if you're smaller than you thought? So what if you're smaller than you thought? The body wants to breathe. The ribs want to heave. The heart to ache and moan. The skin above.
So you see what I mean about not being able to fit that in any kind of genre? She's got her own genre going, and I love it. I love the doubled lead vocals that are panned wide. Sounds fantastic. And the background vocals just all fit in there so nicely. The song is, like I said, it's kind of addictive. You listen to it again and again, and you hear like all the, the crunchy distortion that she's got going on certain things, and the filtering. It's so friggin' cool. I've also linked the video in the show notes as well as all of her social media. The video is really cool. And I just want to add a shout out to her cat, Olive. Hi, Olive. Meow. She says this is her studio cat. So I wanted to give a special mention to good old Olive. Anyway, so this is Dinah Thorpe's song, The Body Wants, and you can find it in a lot of places to purchase. So all those links are in the show notes. And thanks, Dinah. You're amazing. Okay. So now we're going to move on to our final little lady. Here we go. What a great way to top off this show with the amazing music of Maheekats. The band Maheekats is composed of Craig Kemp and Clara Hembree. Clara is who we're going to be discussing. She is a recording mix engineer who hails here in California. And this song is entitled Baba Lives. Maheekats is kind of a dream pop indie band that focuses on lush vocals with a sort of edgy post-punk and progressive influence. This song is fantastic. Her and Clara and Craig co-produced, mixed, and edited it together. And then they send it off to be mastered by Paul Degree, I think. Anyway, so it's Craig on drums and bass and Clara on guitar and vocals. It's such a cool sound, and the guitar just completely envelops you when you hear it. It takes you away. Vocals were recorded with an Aston Spirit mic. And then a Rode NT2A and Spirit mic was used on the guitars. And the bass went direct in, as well as using an NT2A on the bass cabinet. So the drums were recorded with an Alesis electronic drum kit that triggered one of the many wonderful Easy Drummer drum sets. She loves Easy Drummer. And Easy Drummer is a sample-based drum software synth. It's amazing. I mean, it's amazing because the sounds are recorded in pro studios with the best mics. So if you want to check out Easy Drummer, please do. It's a great alternative to recording your own drums. So Clara played electric, acoustic, and sang all the vocals in her home studio with a UA Apollo, and the MIDI controller is the M Audio Axiom Air 49 key controller. So that's a little bit about her gear. She likes, as far as her favorite plugins on the track, include the Roland RE201 for the delay and reverb on the vocal, and the Echoplex Tape Echo for the electric guitars, and the Studer Tape Emulation on the drum sum. This song was written by Craig, and Clara wrote the vocal melodies. And also, what's cool about this song is the lyrics are a quote from the Indian guru Satya Sai Baba. Okay, this is really, really awesome. So the end of the song is Sai Baba singing in Indian bhajan. They got the recording from an old cassette tape. They played the tape on a cheap portable tape player mic'd with a Shure SM58. That's really cool. You're going to hear it. It's very, very, very cool. Clara, it's funny she added this note. Clara is not a Fender Telecaster fan because of the headstock. Her words are, Tellys are ugly and I hate them, huh? But the fact is, a Telly worked awesome at the end of this song. She tried every other guitar, and the Telly was the one that worked. So, hey, she went with it. So let's go ahead and listen to this fantastic song entitled Baba Lives by the band Maheekats with the mixing engineer talents of Clara Hembree. Wow, Clara, you rock on guitar. I love that. Actually, that lead was inspired by Randy Rich, she says, a great lead guitar player who says, who suggested try and stay close to the melody of a song when creating a lead, and that's exactly what she did. I love that ascending line that goes into the guitar solo. It's there lightly before another verse. I think it's only played by the bass at that time, but then when that guitar helps that build, oh my gosh, and then that guitar solo comes in, it's great. The delays are so tasteful. The arrangement rocks. So yeah, I love this song, and I love the ending. It's so cool. So hey, all of her links to social media for the Maheekats are in the show notes. Go buy the song, give them some love. And yeah, Clara, you rock. You rock. She's also known as Lady Audio, by the way. So hey. Anyhow, so hey, I think that means that we are finished with this show. Hey, I want to thank you again for joining me here, letting me bend your ear, letting these ladies just totally take you away with their music and their talents. And if you are a female and you want to submit any tracks for this show, please do. The email is info@femalemixingengineers.com. And also, too, if you go to the website, there is a little button on the right-hand side for you to leave a voicemail. You don't even need to use your phone or anything. Leave it right through your computer. You can say hi, just say whatever. Talk about any episode that you want to talk about, or say hi to any of the ladies whose music you heard and you want to support them. It would be great to hear from you. You just press that little button and record your message, and I will get back to you. Anyway, well, here is to making great music, and I cannot wait to join you next time when we have 4 fantastic ladies sharing their talents. And have a great, great day.